Hi again. We're in John Wesley Brady's This Freedom Whence, the chapter Reassertion of the Christian Ethic. John Wesley now on party politics. Party politics received from Wesley no support. Repeatedly, at election times, he convened the enfranchised members of his societies and urged them to vote for the candidate of nobler character who would support humanitarian and Christian principles, for a lover of God and the King. And by the king, he meant the symbol of a united nation, not the head of a faction or class. But each elector, he insisted, must settle the choice for himself, refraining always from ill word or deed toward those who voted on the other side. Wesley coerced the political conscience of none of his followers. He contented himself with the application of Christian principles to public life and avoided factional or partisan association. Nevertheless, at one point he was adamant. He threw all his weight against bribery and corruption in elections. No member of his societies should even eat or drink at the expense of him for whom he voted. Integrity and probity he demanded in public as much as in private affairs. Every elector should use his franchise as though the results of the election depended on his vote alone. Rotten boroughs to Wesley were a stupid anachronism. On October 2nd, 1754, he wrote, "I walked to Old Sarum, which, in spite of common sense, without house or inhabitant, still sends 2 members to Parliament." Later he derided the political injustice which allowed Low, a town near half as large as Islington, to send 4 members to Parliament, though the largest county in North Wales sent but 1. While in 1778, with his country at war, he pointed the absurdity of Queensborough, containing above 50 houses, sending 2 members to Parliament. Already we have noticed Wesley's abhorrence of press gangs, so common in his day. We've also noted his attacks on magistrates for encouraging mob violence and on judges for defending slavery. But on numerous other public abuses he turned the searchlight of truth. The toll gate system of public revenue he censured as saddling the poor with the vile imposition of turnpikes. Concerning the scandal of pluralities and sinecures in the state church, often the fruit of political intrigue, he cried, "Oh, what a curse in this poor land are pluralities and non-residents." As for prison administration, he prepared the way for the coming of John Howard and Mrs. Fry, his spiritual children. How familiar he was with contemporary prisons may be gauged from the fact that in one period of 9 months he preached at least 67 times in various jails. And Marshalsea was by no means the only prison he depicted, a nursery of all manner of wickedness. Indeed, the more carefully one studies Wesley's prison associations, the more obvious it becomes that his fearless criticisms were the real reason why, for long, he was forbidden to go to Newgate for fear of making the prisoners wicked, and to Bedlam for fear of driving the inmates mad. Wesley's mind was too systematic and his study of history too comprehensive to despise the vehicles of government. Contrariwise, his conception of society being organic, not mechanical, he cherished for them instinctive respect. But when such organizations degenerated into a dress parade behind which stalked injustice and tyranny, he was quick to tear off the mask. His numerous comments on Ireland after intimate association are highly illuminating. A Protestant of Protestants and an Englishman to the bone, his heart burned at the pompous injustices he saw perpetrated in that unhappy land. Nor is it any wonder, he thunders, that those who are born papists generally live and die such, when Protestants can find no better way to convert them than penal laws and acts of Parliament." End of quote. Again, in a quaint tract wherein he suggests a short and sure way of converting Ireland, and the converting is in quotation marks, after emphasizing and commending the veneration in which Catholics hold the lives of the apostles, he tilts at the arrogance of Anglican officialdom in Ireland. "Let all the clergy of the Church of Ireland," he advises, "only live like the apostles and preach like the apostles, and the thing is done." Often, too, Wesley denounced vehemently the laws restraining the free importation of Irish products into England, while he approved with zest every effort for cooperation between the two countries. But in one regard he was unbending. Believing that all Catholics were under dictation from Rome, he opposed sternly the repeal of the repressive legislation that in his day kept them from holding any public office in Britain. Next time, Wesley on economics and religion.